Many people are in the impossible dream to get back into the playoffs and maybe have a shot at defending their Super Bowl title. Meanwhile, the 3-3 Cowboys are also struggling, and they're struggling as much with their fans as anything else. Many of their fans feel the replacement team might have been better. Al, tell us a little bit about the Giants.
Well, Frank, the Giants right now can afford really only one more loss the balance of the season if they entertain hopes to be a wild card. And right now that is a logical hope, and as much as it appears Washington will win the NFC East. But the Giants, a most impressive victory against a weak St. Louis team. By the way, Joe Morris is healthy. He won't start tonight. Lee Roussan will, but we'll see a lot of Morris, and Phil Simms is coming off a big week. And let's find out about the Dallas Cowboys. And as they say in Georgia, Dan, how about them Cowboys?
Well, that's exactly what people here in Dallas are asking about their football team, and they're questioning the mental toughness of this club. They had their noses rubbed in it a bit last week by Buddy Ryan and the Philadelphia Eagles. 37-20, that final score, and what happened there? That last touchdown at the end of the game kind of challenges the Cowboys. How are they going to respond? They can do two things tonight. First of all, they can assert themselves with their fans. They've fallen out of favor. They can do one other thing. They can deal a death blow to the New York Giants. They can go to 4-3, dispatch the Giants. Could be a big night for the Cowboys.
Okay, and as improbable as it might seem that the Giants are 1-5, how about this? If the playoffs were today, the two wild card teams from the National Football Conference would be Tampa Bay and Green Bay.
For 6 years, the Cotton Bowl was a home of losers. The Cowboys were charming and entertaining hosts who threw a good party.
Tonight, live from Texas Stadium in Irving, Texas, the Giants continue their quest for a playoff spot. They meet the Dallas Cowboys, a longtime bitter rival, and one of the teams they have already lost to this year. It's not over. Lance Alwood, motion left. Hart looking deep for Bob Hayes. And that's why they pass.
Yeah. That's one reason why you want to put up in the air every now and then.
2nd and 9.
Here comes safety blitz. Phil Simms reads it.
Timing play, tipped and caught, and
He's
breaking free is Johnson for the touchdown. Inside handoff, Walker, first down and touchdown.
Great call. You're looking at a live shot of downtown Dallas, Texas on a beautiful night for football. And as we pan west some 8 miles, we find Texas Stadium, where tonight Texas Stadium will host an NFC Eastern Divisional matchup between the Dallas Cowboys and the defending Super Bowl champion New York Giants. This ABC Sports. I'm Frank Gifford, and welcome to Texas Stadium, where tonight two longtime rivals will meet, the Cowboys and the Giants. The Giants, of course, off to a dismal start here in 1986. They are 1-5. They won their first game last week over St. Louis. Many people are saying, can they do it? Can they possibly get it together, put a playoff team together, and even perhaps defend their Super Bowl title? Well, it's a long shot with the players. Many of them feel they can do it, as does their head coach Bill Parcells, and we'll hear from them at halftime. Meanwhile, the Dallas Cowboys are 3-3. They trail the Washington Redskins, who are 6-1 in the NFC East. And for the Dallas Cowboys, they have another problem. They have an identity crisis. When they went out on strike, their Cowboy fans all of a sudden developed a love affair with their replacement players. And the Cowboy fans are tough. The players have heard the boos, they've heard the jeers, and while the players are back, the Cowboy fans are not. The Cowboys, of course, can change all that by winning. The regulars have only won one game this season. The regulars lost 7 of the last 8 that was played a year ago, and they have not won in Texas Stadium in over a year. And as far as the fans are concerned, well, the replacement players could have done just as well. In any event, it's a Giants and Cowboys game, and we are looking for some fireworks tonight. And now, how about a little bit on the Giants?
Well, Frank, so many people have been talking about the Giants and the Giants having to win every game. If the Giants win all of their games the rest of the way, they're almost guaranteed a wild card spot. They'd wind up 10-5. They can really afford a loss and probably still get into the playoffs at 9-6. I think the most interesting thing with the New York Giants right now is Bill Parcells. Last year, smiling, players, buddy, sure, go dump Gatorade on my head, Bill Parcells. This year, after that 0-2 start and the 3 losses during the replacement schedule, he has become an ornery, distant Bill Parcells. But there's a method to his madness. He wants no more distractions, and there he is. It worked last week as they beat an inferior St. Louis team 30-7. He wants them concentrating on the balance of the season. So Parcells and the Giants, and I think these are 2 critical weeks for the Giants. If they can beat Dallas tonight and New England next week, the rest of the schedule is not that difficult. They are 1-5. Dallas is 3-3. But as far as the fans are concerned, and Frank touched on it, what's happening to the fan base of the Dallas Cowboys, Dan?
It's really something, Al, because, you know, America's team now isn't even Dallas's team. It's remarkable what's happened to the Cowboys here in Dallas. Their fans have clearly turned against them. And, of course, there is one way to remedy that. That's by beating the Giants. Really, what's going to be interesting tonight, how will the Cowboy ball players respond to last week? Buddy Ryan and the Eagles up 30-20, stuck it in their ear. 37-20 as they scored a touchdown in the final 10 seconds of the ballgame. How are the Cowboy ball players are going to respond tonight? Hey, with names like Too Tall Jones, Randy White, Danny White, Tony Dorsett, Herschel Walker, this is a team that's capable of getting to the playoffs. Granted, they've been erratic. 2 big things they can accomplish tonight. They can gain the respect of their fans with a victory, and with that same victory, they'll really deal a death blow to the New York Giants.
And in their quest for that victory, they have won the toss and they will receive. The Cowboys receiving it back deep. Darryl Clack, 82, and Kelvin Edwards, one of the replacement players who has stuck at wide receiver. Raul Alegre to kick off for the Giants. And at the 9-yard line, it's Kelvin Edwards who comes out past the 20 and is taken down at the 24. And 35-year-old Danny White goes to the helm for the Dallas Cowboys. White, who is backed up by Steve Pellure. And Danny, for the season, throwing for 1,110 yards, and the backs with him, Dorsett and Walker to start. Renfro and Banks are the wide receivers, with Cosby the tight end. And the revamped men up front, including 1 rookie on the right side, Kevin Gogan. For the moment, they go with Thornton Chandler, starting now at tight end. He is number 89. And they go with a double tight end set with Cosby on the other side. So 2 tight ends on the first play for Dallas, with Walker going in motion, the fake, and White on a roll, and Danny looking downfield and going deep and complete to the 43 to Doug Cosby. So they come out of a double tight end set. Lawrence Taylor chasing Danny White, hitting him as he threw, but White completing the pass for a first down out at the 43-yard line. Now defensively for the Giants, the defense that spurred them to their Super Bowl win last year, the 3 up front. And we will see a lot of Dorsey as well. The great linebackers, of course. Perry Williams, who was hurt early in the season, is now back after a neck injury at 1 corner spot. Timmy Newsome is in the game at fullback for Dallas from the 42-yard line. And Tony Dorsett gets a block from Newsome, and Dorsett springs to the outside, and there's a penalty marker down back at the New York 44-yard line. Kenny Hill in on the tackle. And an altercation on the far side to get things underway as well.
I guess there's an altercation. Half the Giants team that is out on the field. Only 3 fellas stayed out on the field. We've got 8 guys over in the middle of the Cowboy bench. Quite a contingent.
Interesting how the Cowboys did open up with the 2 tight ends, as Al mentioned, Thornton Chandler and Doug Cosby. Cosby splitting out as a wide receiver. As big as he is a very agile, very quick man, and you have to treat him much like a wide receiver.
We have a personal foul, illegal crackback, number 84.
That is Doug Cosby, and that will move the ball all the way back inside the 30-yard line, and they'll put it down at the 28-yard line.
Giants have really handled Crosby over the past 5 games they played. They've held him to without a touchdown, but in previous games, in the previous 5 games, he had 5 touchdowns against them.
Cosby had 6 catches in their game last week against Philadelphia, so Doug is He's the player rep, and it's important for him to perform well after the strike.
First and 25, screen to Dorsett. Neat little move, but a minimal gain out to the 30-yard line. Stopped by George Martin, number 75. So Tony picks up about 3, and it will be second down and 23.
Gentlemen, do you get the impression in watching the New York Giants swarm to the football and put the hit on the ball carrier and the receivers that they're a team that's playing like they're a little desperate, which they should be. Boy, are they hitting.
It is a desperate situation. We're going to be talking about it throughout the night. And even if they win, it's going to continue to remain desperate. But you get the feel from all of them that they feel they can do this. It's more of a challenge than it is a desperate situation.
Second down and 23. Taylor is at the top of the screen. And it's Dorsett, and the play is broken up by Banks and Marshall. Leonard Marshall, number 70, along with Banks, and third and long now for Dallas from their own 27-yard line.
Carl Banks might as well have sent a message. Here I come. Look at him right there on the line of scrimmage. Gets inside Crawford Kerr, the right guard, and right into the path of Tony Dorsett, who had absolutely no chance on the play, but that certainly shouldn't have surprised Kerr and the Cowboy offensive line. Carl right on the line of scrimmage 2 or 3 seconds before the snap. He is a tremendous football player. Carl Banks.
Danny White now comes up in the shotgun on third down and 25. And he took a look at the New York defensive alignment, and we have an official's time here for the moment.
Well, and the 30-second clock is down to 0.
Offense, third down.
And that'll cost them another 5.
It took a long time getting the play off, and when Danny White walked up, to look at the 30-second clock, it had already ticked off. That cost him 5. And what Tom Landry, I know, does not want to do is get himself in deep trouble down here. You could say something very simple like a draw play. You could see a screen play. He's going to be very careful when he takes it up on top. The Giants in a prevent defense. They have 5 of the defensive backs in the backfield at the moment.
Third down 30 with Walker in motion from the 23-yard line. White has to step up, pressured, and down he goes back at the 19. Eric Howard gets the sack. Andy Hedden put the pressure on. Number 54 with a sack going to Howard, number 74. He had 2 last week in the Cardinal game. He sacked Lomax a pair of times.
Still in all, Danny White doing the right thing, not throwing that ball upfield where it could have been picked off. But the one big play to Cosby, and then it's been nothing but problems here with the first offensive move on the part of the Cowboys.
McConkey to receive the punt. Mike Saxon, who leads the league in net punting average, gets off a good one. And McConkey fields at his own 35-yard line and brings it back 7 yards out to the 42. So from there, near midfield, will the Giants take possession for the first time after a 47-yard kick and a 7-yard run back. Bill Sims to guide the Giants. Now, Joe Morris had his practice time limited, and there are Sims's numbers thus far in the 3 games in which he has played. The backs, Lee Roussan will start, but Morris is okay. He's going to be in very early. Adams is the new starting fullback, and there is the revamped offensive line, and they begin as the Cowboys did with a double tight end setup. Moat and Bavaro from the 43-yard line. Straight ahead goes George Adams for a gain of about 2, and Randy White, number 54, in his 13th season, is in on the stop. And there is the somewhat long in the tooth Cowboy offensive line. Jones, the youngster Brooks, and then White and Jeffcoat. The 3 linebackers with Lockhart in the middle, and the secondary featuring at one corner on the right side Ron Francis, the rookie out of Baylor. Second down 8, Giants from the 45. No score, early first quarter. Adams takes it out to the 49-yard line, and the flag goes down. Lockhart in on the tackle. Referee tonight is Fred Wyant.
Holding number 68, second down.
Damian Johnson.
That's over on that right side, Dan, where the Giants have been troubled. They, of course, lost Carl Nelson over the right side. He's undergoing treatment for Hodgkin's disease, and Damian Johnson is filling in for Chris Godfrey, and this was Johnson.
That's Damian Johnson. Let's watch him on his block, see if we can detect the hold as we look at it from behind. Working to the inside against Kevin Brooks. I couldn't see it from there. It looked like a pretty good block from behind, but you can't see the hands, obviously.
2nd and 18. Sims protected well, has it deflected, incomplete, off the hand of Eugene Lockhart. He got in front of Bavaro to break the play up. It'll be 3rd and 18.
And what a crucial series for the Cowboys and their defensive unit as we watch Eugene Lockhart go off the field. He doesn't play in their nickel package, which the Cowboys call their 4-0 defense. And so the Cowboys, who did nothing offensively, now have backed the Giants into a 3rd and long when they had field position close to midfield. So let's see if the Cowboys defensively come up with a big play.
As the Giants normally do, 3rd and long. Galbraith is in the game, number 30. Alongside Sims, and Tony goes out into the pattern. On 3rd and 18, and Galbraith is open, makes the catch at the 41, and is taken down at the 43-yard line, well shy of the first down. Vince Albritton makes the tackle. So they gave room underneath, and they could afford to on 3rd and 18.
Again, Phil Sims, like Danny White a few moments ago, being very careful on that 3rd and extremely long yard. He had a shot at McConkey deep. Sims didn't want to take it, dumped it off, and has to settle for the 4th down and the punt.
Sean Landeta to kick. This is Kelvin Edwards fielding at the 14-yard line and out of bounds at the 27-yard line. And the Cowboys begin their next drive from there. We have 9:32 remaining in a scoreless first quarter in Irving, Texas. Dallas Cowboys with a mark of 3-3, and the New York Giants with a record of 1-5. Each team has had the ball once, and the Cowboys begin now at their own 28-yard line. Their second possession with Newsom in the game. And Walker as a receiver to the right, and it's Newsom who jumped, and Dorsett carries out to the 28-yard line.
Newsom got set again, so we do not see a flag.
Smart play by Timmy Newsom. Went in motion and then just went down on all fours and came to a stop before the snap of the football. A very alert play. His other alternative would have been to keep going in motion, get parallel to the line of scrimmage by the snap of the ball, but veteran play.
Does, however, make it a little more difficult to block for Dorsett. So it's 2nd down and 9 from the 29-yard line. A little swing, and Dorsett drops the ball. Thinking about moving upfield, and it was Perry Williams who was one-on-one with him.
A good look here at the Cowboys and their revamped offensive line. The Dallas Cowboys never even used to have players that weighed over 270. Check out the weights on some of these guys. Newton at over 300, Gogan at 316, and keep in mind they have a rookie that started for them, Jeff Zimmerman, their 3rd-round draft choice, who is 320 plus. A big change in Big D as far as big guys are concerned.
Not an offensive line, it's like a housing project.
3rd down and 9 out of the shotgun. From the 29, it's Walker in motion. White floats one, complete to the 40-yard line to Gordon Banks, and a 1st down at midfield.
A dangerous pass, but a good touch to Gordon Banks. Gordon Banks picked up crossing against the zone, working against Carson, and Danny White floated it right over Carson and gets the completion.
And it's a gain of 21. Ball just across midfield. Dallas has it at the Giants' 49-yard line. 8:48 to play in the period, no score. Herschel Walker is the sole running back in this set. Cosby is in motion. Herschel stopped after a gain of a half yard, maybe 1. Herschel Walker stopped by Burt and Taylor. It'll be 2nd down 9.
Herschel Walker has talked about wanting to carry the ball more here in Dallas. A good illustration there of his collegiate to the USFL to the NFL. And if you're Herschel Walker, that's not the way you want to see that going. You'd rather see an upward curve rather than down to only 10 carries a game. He's gone public, Herschel Walker has, saying he wants the ball more. 10's not enough.
That's, of course, splitting the time with Tony Dorsett.
2nd down and 9, and right now they are the split backs in this set. 2nd and 9 from the 48, and Walker makes the catch and gets hit at the 41-yard line, but the fumble came after the whistle. It'll be 3rd down and 2. He was hit by Banks and Carson. And that's the one thing they're able to do with Walker. He may not be carrying as much, but he's certainly receiving more than he ever has.
It's the hit from behind. Here comes Harry Carson in from the right. Carl Banks comes in and cleans up, but Harry Carson put the good shot on Herschel Walker, but he was clearly down before the ball came loose.
They do. They move him all over the field. They move him out to a wide position. They move him into a slot, and he can work almost like a flanker, but he still would like to carry the ball more from scrimmage.
He caught 76 passes last year. 3rd and 2. He carries here, and he gets the first down and a lot more. Inside the 30, run out of bounds at the 19-yard line by Terry Kennard. 23-yard gain for Herschel Walker.
Like all the great ones, he makes it look so easy, Dan. There was no opening where he wanted to go over to the 5-hole. Took a good look there, nothing happening. Carson stepped into it. Hill was up there, number 48, steps to the outside. Gets a good block by Kelvin Edwards, the replacement player that made the Cowboys team, and turned on the speed and gets inside the 20.
And at the line of scrimmage, it was his pulling right guard, Crawford Kerr, who buried Kenny Hill. Herschel Walker give him a little bit of room, and he's learned what to do with it.
And it's Walker. Not much room this time. He takes it to the 16, and he's tripped up by Jim Burt, the nose tackle. It'll be 2nd and 8 at the 16-yard line. Tom Landry, 28th year as the head coach of the Cowboys. And last year, 7-9. This year at the 500 mark. Bill Parcells, meanwhile, in his 5th season.
That's what he's been looking like in team meetings. Hasn't been talking to his team at all.
And at home.
2nd down and 8. Reverse, and that doesn't fool anybody. Cosby on the end around is stopped by Leonard Marshall. Giants sniffed that one out perfectly, throwing for a loss back to the 21 and set up 3rd down and long.
Against a defense that reacts as well and runs as well as the New York Giants, a very difficult play to set up. That replay gives you an indication of how long it took for the play action inside to occur before Doug Cosby got his hands on the ball. And of course, Leonard Marshall's a veteran. He knows his primary job is to stay home until he sees the ball going away. He played it well.
3rd down and 14. Blindside rush. White gets decked but gets it off, and a flag goes down. Interference.
All over him.
Kenny Hill crawling all over Cosby, and Danny White took a wicked shot. Coming in on the blitz was Andy Hedden and nailed him. White held it, trying to get Cosby clear.
Pass interference, number 48 in the end zone. First down on the 1-yard line.
Kenny Hill is 6 feet tall. He's covering a 6'6" Cosby, who was just shielding Hill away from the ball. Gets the flag. He could have called any number of things right there.
Well, he picked one. It was interference, and it's a 1st down at the 1-yard line.
2 officials called it. 1st and goal. Newsom, the fullback, with Walker behind him, and there's Cosby for extra leverage. Walker bumps his way in for the score.
Didn't take long to get their fans back, did it?
No. And what happened on that play? He gets hit by Lawrence Taylor. Let's take a look at this. When Herschel Walker goes into the air, Lawrence Taylor launches himself at the same time. There's the hit. But look at Walker. Come back down, stay on his feet. He sheds Taylor and gets into the end zone. Hey, that's some kind of play, Frank.
Oh, what a great one he is. Again, he always makes it look so easy. Good play by Lawrence Taylor. I would have nailed an ordinary back or an ordinary human being.
There's no way Taylor could have played it any better.
Roger Ruzek putting it through. And the Dallas Cowboys cash in on their 2nd possession. Walker scores from the 1. 5:52 left in the period. 7-0 Cowboys.
After the kick, we're going to show you the play that Lawrence Taylor made down on the goal line. You know, a guy can score a touchdown without it being someone else's fault. And 2 special plays that time on the goal line. One by Lawrence Taylor, and the other, of course, by Herschel Walker, who ended up in the end zone for a Dallas Cowboy lead. But textbook illustration, how to play linebacker.
And a pretty classy pair.
Yes, I guess.
Ruzek to kick off for the Cowboys, with Adams and Roussan back for the Giants. Lee Roussan from the goal line. And he brings it back out to almost the 20-yard line, stopped by Vince Albritton.
Let's take a look down on the goal line. Here's Timmy Newsome, the fullback. He's locked up with Harry Carson. These two are going to meet here. Here's Lawrence Taylor. He's free all the way on this guy Walker. Watch them meet, but watch how it's Walker that keeps his feet. Carson will fill the middle when he sees Newsome go forward. There comes Harry, and then scraping right off is Lawrence Taylor into the air. Meets Herschel Walker, but Herschel has the athletic ability to come back down on his feet and get in the end zone.
Now Morris is in the game in the backfield with Adams going in motion as the Giants take over at their own 20. And it's Joe Morris out to the 27-yard line. He is stopped there by number 50, Jeff Rohrer, the linebacker. So Morris didn't start, as Parcells indicated. He went with Roussan on the first series, but he's in the game early.
His reasoning, a good one. I think we all agreed with that when we talked to him today. Joe has had an ankle problem, a knee problem coming out of the St. Louis game. He felt that if he didn't start him, he would be better off putting him in a little later. If he started him and Joe had to leave, well, that might give the entire team a little bit of a letdown. And you can avoid that somewhat by bringing him in early in the game and taking a look, and then if you take him out, it doesn't hurt so much.
On 2nd and 3, Morris again, short of the first down by a yard. Jeffcoat and Rohrer converge on the tackle, so the Giants now faced with a 3rd and 1, and the Giants are still seeking their first down of the game with 4:50 to go in the period.
One of the many changes from this Super Bowl Giants team is the fact that George Adams is now starting in there, number 33, in place of Maurice Carthen. Now Adams, a fine running back, a good receiver, but a good blocker also. But he gives you more versatility back there working with Joe Morris than they had with Carthen.
3rd and 1, 2 tight ends in the game, and through the middle is Joe Morris, and all he has to do with a little scuffle breaking out, some shoving and pushing with Rohrer and Jeffcoat involved on the Cowboy end, and if the nose of the ball gets to the 30, it's a first down, and it's well past that point. First down, New York.
I think in some people, desperation breeds aggression. And each in their own way, these are two football teams that are desperate. The Cowboys are trying to get the respect of their fans and the other teams in the NFL back. The Giants, well, we know why they're desperate.
They're right on the edge, emotionally and in every way.
1st and 10, Giants in the 30-yard line. Sims wide open at the 45-yard line is Bavaro, and he is into Cowboy territory to the 48. Wide open on the sideline was the tight end, Mark.
I, on the other hand, when I get desperate, I want to eat.
You don't eat, you graze.
Desperation manifests itself in many different ways in many different people.
You have been desperate much of your life.
It's too late to stop now.
Mark Bavaro giving the Giants a first down at the Dallas 48-yard line. 7-0 Cowboys. First period. Nice block by Morris, and then the pass is caught by Adams inside the 30 to the 24-yard line.
That's one of the things we spoke of a moment ago. Adams gives you the versatility that maybe you don't have with Maurice Carthen, who is more of a blocker than anything else. And here is Sims. He gets in a little bit of a problem down at the bottom. That is Rohrer coming in. And now watch Sims step back up. He wants to go downfield at this point. Nothing happening down there. He quickly looks off to the left, and there is Adams. And Adams, with that versatility, has floated into the flat, gave him a checkoff man, and gets the first down.
And how about that block by Joe Morris?
Absolutely. First down from the 23-yard line. And little Joe, well, he doesn't like to be called little Joe, but you get the picture. Takes it to the 20-yard line. I say that only because Morris at 5'7", 195, you saw that block on Rohrer, who is 6'2" and 230.
You notice he didn't go for his throat either.
Yeah.
He went low and put him on the ground, and that really was the key to that play. That was a very lengthy pass pattern that George Adams ran, and it was because of Joe Morris's block on Jeff Rohrer that gave Phil Sims an extra good 2 to 3 seconds.
2nd down and 7 at the 20-yard line. Morris hit down at the 19 by Brooks. You saw the graphic a moment ago. Morris without a rushing touchdown this season. The Giants, in all 6 games, counting the replacement games, the Giants have not scored a rushing touchdown in 1987. Not one.
Joe was struggling in the first game. As we look at the defensive coordinator, Ernie Stoutner, for the Cowboys, he was taken out of that game early against the Bears, had a concussion in the game they lost against Dallas, and was hurt again last week.
Shotgun, 3rd and 6 from the 19. Galbraith is in the game. Sims steps up, throws complete to the 10-yard line to Lionel Manuel, playing with a soft cast. A guy who caught 2 passes last week, both for touchdowns against St. Louis.
He's got a broken navicular bone, or in the left hand. He has that soft cast, and he still has the good moves. He moves behind Bavaro here. Bavaro attracting double coverage deep, and right behind him comes Manuel. And it does hurt every time he catches that football and has to close his arms over it. It's very painful. He caught a diving 38-yard touchdown pass last week against St. Louis, and he thought he had broken it again. But he gets the first down.
Giants trying to cash in on an impressive drive. 1st and goal from just inside the 10. Morris takes the ball down to the 6, and that should be the final play of the first quarter. So Tom Landry has watched his team move effectively for a touchdown, but now watching his defense trying to stop a very effective Giant march as the first period comes to an end. To the second quarter at Texas Stadium in Irving, with Dallas holding on 7-0. Back for the second quarter, and this ABC Sports exclusive is being brought. Al Michaels with Frank Gifford, Dan Deerdorf. The Giants driving, 2nd and goal at the 6-yard line. Adams and Morris are the running backs. Sims going to the air. Sims throwing for the end zone, and a flag goes down. The intended receiver was Lionel Manuel, and Everson Walls was in the picture as well.
And you had Bates covering Bavaro right alongside as the 2 receivers got very close together.
How about Phil Sims directing traffic there a little bit before the snap of the ball?
Illegal contact, number 24, half the distance, first down.
They're booing, partially they're booing the penalty, and the other part of the booing is for Walls personally.
Yeah, 10% because of the penalty, 90% because Everson was one of the more outspoken Cowboys during the strike, and I guess he and Jeff Rohr are the 2 favorite scapegoats of the fans here in Dallas. More than one poster here for Everson, but this guy's got it together. I don't know that that's really going to phase him a great deal.
It is now 2nd and goal. Double tight end setup with both Bavaro and Moen on the right side. Adams in motion. Toss to Morris and driven back by Eugene, the hitting machine, Lockhart, the middle linebacker.
Lockhart is really turning into a leader of this defensive unit, and he read that beautifully, slid along behind the line of scrimmage, cut through the gap, and watch number 56 right in the middle of your screen, reading it all the way, reading Morris all the way, steps in behind the pulling guard, Billy Ard, and is absolutely clean getting to Morris.
And that's where a middle linebacker can't make that mistake. He's faced with the option of continuing down the line of scrimmage or jumping into the backfield. If you jump into the backfield, don't be late, don't miss it. And that time Eugene didn't.
Timeout called by Sims, really angry too. He has to waste one here.
Well, he barely beat the 30-second clock. Did it by only a couple of seconds.
2nd and goal when we come back.
Bill Parcells on the sidelines, and he was really agitated. And Phil Sims had to call that timeout. And I know that guy on the left, that's Billy Edwards. Now, I don't know who that guy in the blue jacket is, but that's our man, Billy Edwards, who got himself in the traffic down there.
That's Don Orr, the field judge, who's getting an earful. Bill's complaining that they started the clock too early, and of course that forced them to take a timeout. There wasn't any fault of the Giants, according to Bill Parcells.
It is 2nd down and goal now at the 5. Dallas ahead 7-0 early second quarter. On a sweep, Morris, and Joe Morris is in for the score.
Oh, he just ran right through Michael Downs. Sometimes he is down there so low, and he kind of squirts through there. Got a good block from George Adams. And it was Morris just squirting into the end zone.
But Michael Downs is in position to make the play. You're going to see Michael, number 26, come in from the right side. But watch him be high. He's high, and look at Joe Morris duck down underneath it, and Downs doesn't even leave his feet. Joe Morris is a low man to begin with, and he was down there at shoestring level.
Downs couldn't get that low.
Allegre's kick is good, so the Giants go 80 yards on this drive for the touchdown after the Cowboys had driven 72 for their score, and we're tied at 7.
Giants needed this from Joe Morris, and he has been struggling even though he had 88 yards last week against St. Louis. Again, watch Adams. Now he's leading on the block here. A good block against Bates. Now watch this. Down goes Joe. He just inches off the carpet. There is Downs, number 26. Tried to take him high. You'll never do that against Joe Morris.
Used his left arm to get down and elevate his body while his momentum carried him on into the end zone. Joe Morris using every part of his body to get into the zone that time. That's a nifty little run.
That's good for Joe Morris and the Giants. Joe Morris, I think, really hurt in the running department when they lost Carl Nelson over the right side. He, of course, undergoing the Hodgkin's disease therapy. Chris Godfrey out with the knee over the right side. And those were the guys that really propelled Morris to a couple of great years the past couple of seasons. 1,800 yards last year, 1,500 the year before. Just amazing.
And the stats you see have evened out, and that's because of the Giants in their last drive. Up to that point in time, it had been Dallas's first quarter. Defensively, they played well, but good, strong, solid drive that time by New York.
Kelvin Edwards takes the ball at the 9-yard line. And a nice run back as he comes out to the 29-yard line, and a marker goes down. Kelvin Edwards, they like him as a receiver. And it's against Dallas, so that'll move them back. And there he is. He was on the replacement team. He was a New Orleans draft in '86, cut by the Saints again in camp this year. Hooked on with the Cowboys, and they love him.
He can play. And he was going to be around a while. They really needed him here with Dallas. Of course, they lost Mike Sherrard with a broken leg. And then they released Tony Hill, and then they were down to nobody. And all of a sudden, they came up with a good-looking prospect in Kelvin Edwards.
And he's not one of those guys that you can. He got his opportunity to play during the strike, but the Cowboys had him in for tryouts, and they were going to sign him regardless. The Cowboys were looking everywhere for wide receivers. Had already had Kelvin Edwards here in Dallas for a tryout. Really had the papers already drawn up when the strike came around. Edwards played well, earned a job.
And they really had to revamp the receiving corps. You recall they dumped Tony Hill, the injury to Sherrard, and now Edwards on the 45-man roster from the 11-yard line. And Tony Dorsett is tripped up. Great play by Carl Banks to shed a block and make the tackle.
He may not be as dramatic as Lawrence Taylor, but he does everything just about equally as well. Now in his 4th year, he's just something very special out there.
Frank, some linebackers take on the block at the line of scrimmage. That time, Carl Banks took on the block about 3 yards into the backfield. Look at Carl just lined up right here. Watch him get upfield. And that's just an impossible situation for Herschel Walker. You can't make a block 3 yards in your own backfield.
On 2nd and 12, Banks makes the catch and has the first down out at the 23-yard line. Run out of bounds by Perry Williams. Gordon Banks.
Banks with a good move on Perry Williams. Got himself in a man-for-man situation. Danny White read it. Picked him out quickly and got it out there as Perry Williams laid off a little further than he should have. And there is Williams. They are glad to have him back. They didn't know how seriously he was injured when he pinched a nerve in his neck in training camp and missed the first 2 games.
Rod Barksdale is in the game as a wide receiver to the right on first down from the 23-yard line. And Herschel finds no room at all. A half dozen blue jerseys to push him back, led by George Martin, Pepper Johnson, and Carl Banks.
Does a defensive coordinator like that? Swarming defense, 5 Giants all over Walker.
I referred to it earlier about the way the Giants were playing with intensity. Boy, look at him just shed the block of Chandler. Didn't give an inch. Stacks up the lead blocker, stacks up Walker, and then gets help from about 6 or 7 of his buddies. Hey, that's... the Giants got a pretty decent defensive team.
And Parcells has got their attention.
2nd and 8 from the 25-yard line for the Cowboys. And White throws it, and it's picked off by Lawrence Taylor, and he's down to the 10-yard line. Leonard Marshall put the pressure on and forced it, and then Taylor with the intercept, and the Giants were in business.
An unbelievable unbelievable play by Lawrence Taylor, who stands right on the line of scrimmage and is blocked by left tackle Mark Tuinei.
But how did he catch it? Danny White, of course, with number 70 to your right in his face, did not even see Lawrence Taylor, but hit him, and somehow or other he was able to handle the ball. It was traveling at pretty good velocity, but he held on to it.
Lawrence Taylor right on the line of scrimmage with a big tackle right in his face. Just had the ball fly to him and stick like it was on flypaper.
It is first down and call it goal since the nose of the ball is on the 10-yard line. Morris stopped by Bates and Lockhart after a gain of about 3. It'll be second down and goal. The Giants scoring a touchdown on their last drive, and that's their first rushing touchdown of the year. Incredibly, it took the Giants 25 quarters to score a rushing touchdown this season.
See a Lawrence Taylor play a football game, you could understand why Cornelius Bennett would be so valuable. Somebody would want that type of football player. He makes such a difference on a football field.
We had a 5-yard penalty against the Giants, negating that gain by Morris on the last play. Back to the 15-yard line, first down and goal. Adams in motion. Sims sacked at the 24-yard line. Bursting through is Mike Hegman.
Let's take a look at Mike Hegman as he comes in from the bottom of your screen. And one key to this play, as far as Mike is concerned, it's a lot easier when nobody blocks you. Watch him move right on upfield, and some breakdown in the New York offensive scheme. You see William Roberts, the right tackle, stayed to the inside. It's tough to tell whether or not Mike Hegman is his guy, but Hegman alertly realized he was unblocked and went in and got a clean sack.
Second down, goal from the 22. Very good protection, and then Adams makes the catch and is tackled at the 6-yard line from behind by Hegman. Nice grab by Adams.
How does Phil Simms, Frank, get the ball to George Adams?
Number one, he had a lot of protection. He looks deep downfield. He's looking deep for Bavaro. He was covered over the middle, and he checks off and throws a shot out to Adams. Absolutely perfect because he was so well covered. Gets away from Hegman. But this, again, is the extra dimension that you get with George Adams. He caught 6 last week against St. Louis. And he's already collected a couple of key ones tonight.
Giants trying to go ahead. Game time at 7. Third and goal at the 7. Sacked by Jones. Too tall. Jones drives him down back at the 17-yard line.
Good coverage by the Cowboys. Simms had time, but no receiver.
Let's take a look at the big man, all 6 feet 9 inches. Here's Ed Jones. He's going to work upfield against William Roberts. But the key here, as Frank said, the coverage downfield. Remember the last play. Phil Simms stood there, and found George Adams. This time Phil stayed there too long. You can't really expect your offensive line to keep him out that long.
35-yard attempt by Raul Alegre is true. Alegre from the 25-yard line has given the Giants the lead after the interception by Taylor. 10-13 to play in the half. New York on top by 3. Coming up from Houston, Captain Aaron Jenkins at the controls. Unique sort of look at the blip above the demi-dome.
There is room for the noise to get out of this one.
Yeah, right.
And the moisture to get in where it stays.
10-7 as the Giants have taken the lead after the Cowboys drew first blood.
CBS and NBC love to televise games from here.
Yeah.
That shadow coming across there, you have half of it in the dark and half of it in the light.
It's also, on a sunny day, one of the hottest stadiums in the league because there's no air circulation on the field at all.
Other than all those things, we love it.
Yeah, dehydration is a real problem for the players when they play here during the day, but it could be a prettier night to play football than tonight.
Allegre's back out to the 24-yard line. Stopped by Robbie Jones, number 51. And let's have another look at that Taylor interception, which led to the New York field goal.
We looked at it from the reverse angle the first time. Let's take a look at it this time from the sideline, down on players level. See Lawrence right on the line of scrimmage fighting off Mark Tuinei, and Danny White just never saw Lawrence Taylor because all he could see was the white shirt of Tuinei, whose back was to him. But really the key play here was the series by the Cowboys defensively, only giving up the field goal.
Dorsett tries to turn the corner and does, and then gets bumped out of bounds as he crosses the 25-yard line. Tony Dorsett, the second oldest running back in the league. And let's take a look at combined yards. That is rushing yardage, receiving yardage, and return yardage. Kickoffs, punts, and also fumble return yardage. Peyton the leader by a lot. Jim Brown second, and Dorsett moving in on the former Cleveland fullback in spot number 3.
And of course, the big difference between the two is that Tony has so many more receiving yards than Jim Brown, whose receiving skills maybe weren't utilized, but whatever the case, he didn't catch the ball.
45 pounds smaller.
Second down and 8 with Walker as a wide receiver in this set, and Timmy Newsome making the catch and hit down at the 28-yard line. And the other thing, when you compare Jim Brown with the others, is he played when there was a 12-game schedule, and Tony Dorsett for most of his career has played with a 16-game schedule.
The line I like best about Jimmy Brown is he was criticized for not catching. Let's take a look at this. We'll get back to the Jimmy Brown story. Do we see a face mask as Newsome heads upfield? That's Carl Banks. Oh, clearly. He's got it and doesn't let go. Carl Banks putting a little stress on the neck of Tim Newsome. Whoa.
Third down and 6 from the 28-yard line, and Danny White going deep for Kelvin, who makes the catch at the 37-yard line. Kelvin Edwards.
They'll be holding on that. It'll come back.
And there is flag down at the 20, and Wyan so signals.
Carl Banks on the blitz. Not sure who picked him up, but they were right on top of it.
If you're a Cowboy fan, this is a blow. Danny White couldn't have thrown the ball any better. Let's get the call from Freddie Wyatt.
Holding number 61, third down.
Remember earlier in the game we saw Banks come in from the blitz right between the guard and the center. He's in there once again, and this time Newton has to try to pick him up. And has to hold him to do it.
Well, what happened is Newton's feet got tangled up with Tom Rafferty, the center, and as he goes down, he drags Banks with him. But look at the touch on this pass from Danny White to Kelvin Edwards. Mark Collins became disoriented, didn't know where the ball was, and if you ran it all the way down there and handed it to him, you couldn't do it any better than that.
3rd and 15 from the 19 after a 35-yard gain was wiped out. And it's complete, but short of the first down out at the 31-yard line. Banks makes the catch, but the Giants doing a good job to keep him from getting the extra 3 yards. Terry Kennard in on the stop, and Dallas is forced to punt.
And Terry Kennard is coming off the field holding his left arm. He was the one that made that tackle that stopped the first down.
Stephen Baker, one of the rookies for the Giants, and a fellow that Dallas really wanted in the draft, and because of a mix-up didn't get. He winds up with the Giants, and he'll wind up returning this kick as Saxon gets ready to punt. Giants trying to set up a return from the 27. Baker stopped at the 32-yard line by a passel of Cowboys, and there's Kennard on the bench as the offense takes over after a 41-yard kick and a 5-yard return. That's pretty amazing when you think about it. Terry Kennard in his 5th year against Dallas, 8 interceptions against all other teams, a total of 10. He loves to play against the Cowboys.
He had 3 in the first game, the first loss the Giants had to Dallas.
Giants take over at their own 33 on 1st and 10. Sims open is Manuel, and a first down as he takes it out to the 49-yard line. Everson Walls with the coverage.
And once again, Joe Morris, I think you picked it up, Dan. He made a terrific block to enable Sims to get rid of that football.
He makes a play-action fake, and then Joe breaks all the way back to his left to give Phil Sims more time. And as you take a look at some of Phil's past successes against the Cowboys, but off to a roaring start today, 6 for 7.
Past non-successes, really.
Oh. Yeah.
Stacey Robinson in motion. This is Adams into Cowboy territory and rolled down as he reaches the 46-yard line. And a marker is down at the line of scrimmage.
The one thing about Phil Simms is this is a different Phil Simms than the Cowboys have seen, with the exception of the game earlier.
Illegal motion, number 81.
He sets the Super Bowl record for passing efficiency in their win over Denver. Then last week, he sets the Giants' regular season record, throwing for nearly 81%, 17 of 21, 3 touchdown passes against St. Louis. This guy has truly come into his own as one of the top 3 or 4 quarterbacks in the NFL.
Closing in on a lot of Charlie Connolly's records. Completions, he could pass that this year. Yardage. He has come into his own, and more importantly, he struggled through the first few years, and he has had 4 consecutive seasons now that he's been totally healthy.
1st and 15 with Manuel in motion, and Morris takes the ball into Dallas territory to the 49-yard line, stopped by Rohrer and Walls. It'll be 2nd down and about 9. A lot of empty seats tonight at Texas Stadium. In fact, without the sellout, the game is blacked out. Our local affiliate is showing blazing saddles tonight. Mel Brooks is the coach. Gene Wilder at quarterback.
Alex Karras. I love that toll booth. Remember the toll booth in the desert?
I like Count Basie out in the desert.
When he knocked out that horse, that was a real horse.
Horse and a half. 2nd and 7. Adams to the 45-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and about 3.
But didn't you love that toll booth?
I did. Wasn't that Slim Pickens? All right, enough of the movie.
Well, then take it off your monitor. Parcells pacing as his team is faced with a 3rd and a long 3 here.
He has not talked to these players whatsoever, other than just individually once in a while. He is trying to focus something on himself, and that is get their anger and he get his focus off the strike, and he's been very successful with it.
Sims runs his way to a 1st down to the 31-yard line. Tackled by Bill Bates, so he improvises 1st down Giants.
There he is again. You get the feeling that's what he's been trying to do. He's always thinking, always trying to do something, and when the players came back, everybody was angry. They were upset over losing their pay. They were upset with each other. They were upset with Lawrence Taylor for coming in, and so he's tried to change the focus, and he's been fairly successful at that. Players have been joking a little bit about it, but he's got their attention, and they've played that way tonight. Particularly on defense, they have been swarming all over.
Sims with his longest run of the season, 14. At the 32-yard line, Joe Morris is taken down by Mike Hegman, number 58. Hegman, the 2nd oldest linebacker in the National Football League. The only one who would be longer in the tooth would be Steve Nelson.
Hegman's been around 12 years, and here is a former teammate, a collegiate teammate of Mike Hegman's. This is Ed Jones, both of them out of Tennessee State over a decade ago, and they've been playing on that left side for so many years together.
2nd and 14, Giants ahead by 3. 4:53 to go in the half. Pressure, sack at the 42-yard line. Jeff Rohrer with help from Jeffcoat to finish him off.
That time, Jeff Rohrer was working against Joe Morris, who's been doing almost as much blocking tonight as he has been running, and it occurs to the backside of Sims, and Jeff persevered, stayed on his feet, and got in and got the sack.
Dallas is so predictable on 2nd and long yardage. They almost invariably are going to come with some kind of a blitz. I was surprised that Morris was even in there. Certainly the Giants are aware of that.
3rd and 21, and it's Galbraith time. Out of the shotgun. Galbraith, number 30, stays in to block, and then Sims throws too high for Adams.
Don Smerrick really leveled Sims. He tried to get it out there, but he had no chance whatsoever. And this Dallas defense is alive, and they have turned this crowd on.
Well, it was a dual safety blitz. Bill Bates, number 40, and that's Vince Albritton, 36. Albritton comes clean. Phil Simms sees him. He's coming straight at him and forces Phil to unload the ball early, and he doesn't have much on it. No chance of completing it. Frank talked about it the play before. 2nd and long, 3rd and long. The Cowboys are going to come with at least one safety, and maybe both, as they did that time.
John Landeta, a slightly errant snap, but he angles it, and he is... No, it's in the end zone for a touchback. Just in there.
Came so close to perfection.
Greg Lasker tried to down it, but too late. So out it comes to the 20. 4:12 to play in the half. And we've also got a penalty marker or a discussion about the touchback call. Let's see.
Well, somebody dropped a flag at the 5-yard line, right at the sideline. So
Fred Wyatt telling us the call is against the Giants, and now he'll discuss the options with Cosby. Parcells says, what?
Well, Parcells hooked up with his assistant coaches. Ron Earhart is the offensive coordinator, high overhead. Mike Pope.
We have illegal touching by number 42, stepped out of bounds and came back in first touching. They refused the penalty. First down.
Darryl Clack illegally. You can't go out of bounds and come back in. Once you're out of bounds, you're out of the play. And he's way out.
So Greg Lasker.
Yeah, it was. They said 42. It was really 46.
It was 46. It was against Lasker, who was out of bounds, came back in and caught the ball. That's a no-no. And whatever the penalty was, Dallas wasn't going to flirt with letting Landeta punt again, so they take it 1st and 10.
From the 20. Fumble and recovered by Dallas back at the 12-yard line. It was Taylor who came in and forced it, and then Tom Rafferty covered up.
He can go so far so quickly. He had to go way around his man. Most linebackers, they would have taken a much slower time getting there. Danny White thought he had the time, and he just didn't. It's just the sheer speed of Taylor coming around literally from the backside, stripping the football, and fortunately they were able to cover it.
Cowboys are doing the right thing. They're putting an offensive lineman on Lawrence Taylor. That time it was Mark Tuanay, the left tackle, but sometimes it takes 2 offensive linemen or 1 tackle and 1 back to slow down Lawrence Taylor.
2nd and 18 from the 12. And they keep it on the ground, and Herschel Walker doesn't go very far. Stopped by Jim Burt.
Lawrence Taylor standing right on the line of scrimmage there. 2-8 comes out to pick him up, and that's just a question of sheer speed. He beats 2-8 to the corner, and Danny White, being the right-handed quarterback, has no idea, and I can't think of anything I would rather not be than a right-handed quarterback playing against the Giants, knowing that Taylor is always coming from your blind side.
Not that much fun being a left-handed quarterback.
Yeah, but at least you see it. At least you see the headlights before you get run over.
3rd and 16. And it's Renfro who gets open in the seam and has the first down at the 40-yard line. So they turn a 3rd and 16 into a first down.
Another perfect pass by Danny White. Threw it into the zone. Renfro, give him credit. He got open, but Danny White had to go over a man with the perfect touch, and he's thrown 2 or 3 tonight like this. Right over the arms of Pepper Johnson, right into the hands of Renfro.
And he's been heavily criticized here in Dallas for being erratic. A lot of people feel that the Cowboys' problems are because of Danny White, and I think his touch on the football tonight has been superb. The only bad pass, the interception that he threw to Lawrence Taylor.
It's Dorsett out to the 40-yard line for a gain of 1 on a first down play. It's now 2nd down and 9, and we are down to the 2-minute warning. So we've got 2 minutes to go. A Homer Hankey escapes from the Metrodome. Cowboys have all of their timeouts remaining. As they go in the half, Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Dan Dierdorf at Texas Stadium, where the New York Giants lead the Dallas Cowboys 10-7. And as we come back, it is 2nd down and 9 for the Cowboys from their own 40-yard line, and they have all their timeouts remaining. They have Renfro split left and Banks to the right. 2nd and 9. White Dumps it off. No, he was in the grasp. He was in the grasp of George Martin, and the play was whistled dead by Fred Wyant for the sack.
There's a second part to that phrase, and it's called in the grasp and control of the defensive lineman or linebacker, whatever the case might be. And that time, Freddie Wyant, the referee, made the decision that George Martin had Danny White both in the grasp and control, and a lot of people in Dallas aren't going to like that call.
They're very quick to call that, however. They seldom wait until they get in control, because sometimes when they get in control, it's history for the quarterback.
Well, then change the rule.
Might not be a bad idea.
10-yard sack, 3rd and 19 from the 29. Green is caught by Kelvin Edwards, and he's out to the 37, and now the Giants can take a timeout if they so choose. Remember, the Giants had to spend 1, so they have 2. And the clock is running right now down to 1:11, and the Giants apparently will take their timeout.
On that play, Lawrence Taylor was on the blitz. He was almost into the backfield, into Danny White, and yet he was the one that made the tackle on the receiver. That's speed.
Remarkable hustle by Lawrence Taylor.
And the Giants do take a timeout. They looked over to the bench, and then Parcells says, take it here to conserve a little bit of time. So we have 1:12. The Giants will get the ball back after the punt, and when they get it back, they have 1 timeout left in the half. Giants by 3, 1:12 to go in the half. Again, when New York gets the ball back, they've got 1 timeout remaining. Tom Landry watching Saxon now drop back to punt. And Stephen Baker is back for the Giants, standing at his own 17, and now moving up a couple of yards. Again, Saxon, the league leader in net punting. Good snaps. And a very good pick. A real beauty. Baker at the 8. Escapes one man and gets hit down at the 13-yard line by Jeff Rohrer, number 50, who's been all over the field, both on defense and on special teams. 55-yard punt, 6:13 with 1:01 to play in the half. And Sims from the shotgun. And he gives it to Galbraith. And then Galbraith takes it out to the 18.
Fumble.
And he fumbles. And we'll wait for an official signal.
Randy White's on his way off the field. He thinks the Cowboys have it, but
you know they're going to be tackling that football down there.
Well, who had it going in doesn't necessarily mean that'll be who has it coming out.
Dallas. Well, how about that? The Giants decide they're going to basically run the clock out after the beautiful punt by Saxon, even though they lined up in the shotgun, keep it on the ground and cough it up.
Well, they were almost forced into that decision. They only have 1 timeout. Just the simple play out of shotgun, the underneath handoff to Tony Galbraith, and let's see who makes the hit. Oh, Jesse Penn, the first guy in there, Vince Albritton, and clearly the ball comes out before the knees of Galbraith hit the field, and Dallas down by 3 has lots of time, 51 seconds and all 3 timeouts left.
So at the 18 now, the Cowboys 1st and 10 send Banks to the left, line up with a double tight end setup with Cosby in motion, and Dorsett starting to move forward.
And Danny White says thanks.
Banks and Johnson coming right over the top.
Encroachment, defense, first down.
He started to move forward, did Tony, after the encroachment had begun.
Well, as Carl Banks performs the half gainer off of the low board.
Degree of difficulty about a 10. Style points about a 9.
A big splash, though, when he took Danny White with him.
Somehow encroachment doesn't fit that picture.
How about mugging?
Annihilation.
First and 5 at the 13-yard line. White for Cosby. Stopped at the 8-yard line. Again, the Cowboys have all of their timeouts. And they elect to use their first one here. That will stop the clock with 38 seconds.
And they may have picked up the first down. I think they are close. What are they, about a yard short?
Yeah, about a yard shy. It'll be just inches to go. Second and inches.
Parcells really grimacing on the sidelines. The one thing a running back has got to be aware of in a situation like that is cover up that football. Tony Galbraith tried to add a little extra yardage by breaking back inside, drew a crowd, the ball came slipping out. But when you're around for 12 years, as Tony has been, you've got to be so conscious of that football, and you can see Parcells is hot.
Right now, Dallas, offensively, they have the luxury as we look at what's coming up this coming Saturday. Stanford Paz comes to New York.
He may buy Manhattan.
Second down, inches from the 9.
Audible.
And White throwing complete to the 3-yard line to Mike Renfro, and that's a first down. And the clock keeps going.
And that's an audible all the way as Dallas takes a timeout. But Danny White looking at the giant blitz right in his face. A linebacker in every gap. You can see clearly audibles at the line of scrimmage. Look what Danny White sees. Pepper Johnson, Carl Banks. His line slides, and Frankie makes the play along with Renfro.
And Renfro reading right along with him. His perfect coordination. You get man-on-man coverage. That's Collins coming back into the play, but he had to play off Renfro a little bit because he was on him man for man. Good coordination. And again, Danny White, the only thing he has ever done wrong, I think, is perhaps follow in the footsteps of the legendary Roger Staubach.
Pretty impressive numbers right there for the half.
11 of 13. And a real key for Dallas on this drive was the fact that they had all their timeouts at their disposal, which means they can use the middle of the field. If they were down to one timeout, they're forced to going into the end zone or using the sidelines. But by having 3, hey, they're not afraid to work the middle of the field, as we've seen to Cosby and Renfro.
First and goal with Walker in motion. Fake to Newsom. Walker is out into the pattern, and the pass is caught for the touchdown by Cosby.
He's 6'6".
And he had to do a real toe dance to pull that baby in and stay in the end zone.
Back at the back of the end zone, when you're 6'6", you can do what Danny White did. He hung it up there, and Cosby, an athletic 6'6", went up and got it. There was no giant that could cover it. Take a look at it again. Again, good protection. Little play action down there. Didn't mean much. Looks out to the right. Cosby on the back line. Good athletic move. Comes down, both feet inbounds.
He is right there. Good call. And Galbraith's fumble translates into a Dallas touchdown.
And that fumble was recovered by Jesse Penn for the record as Roger Ruzek gets set for the extra point. And that's good. And so the Cowboys are able to cash in. Cosby had not scored a touchdown against the Giants in his last 5 games. What's interesting is he scored 5 in the 5 previous games that the Cowboys had played against the Giants. So he was hot, and then he cooled off, and then he scores again here.
He had 6 receptions last week against Philadelphia, so he has come back and is in full gear. But again, that goes right back to the Galbraith fumble, one that should never happen. It will happen, but when you're in a situation like that, you cover the football, think nothing about gaining yards. You're just trying to run that clock out. And it is the kind of play that will age coaches rather quickly.
He could eat the Gatorade bucket right now.
There is no Gatorade bucket anymore.
14-10, the Cowboys on top to kick off with 26 seconds, and the Giants with 1 timeout. And you would suspect they'll just run the clock out if they don't run the kickoff back to midfield or beyond. Roussan and Adams are back deep. That's Roussan on the left, and Ruzek to kick off. The clock starts when the ball touches the receiver's hand. Doesn't even start here as it goes into the end zone.
You got to cover that.
And he does cover it. Roussan going back.
Made that a little tougher than it had to be.
Parcells would have eaten a Gatorade truck if they hadn't covered that one.
Look at
You cannot believe that one.
those are not loving glances being cast towards his own end zone.
Meanwhile, Tom Landry watching his team move ahead after the fumble by Galbraith. They move into the touchdown, and the Giants setting up to run the clock out now with McConkey as the safety valve.
Yeah, the Cowboys have seen this before. Last time it was with Randall Cunningham.
Yeah. This will have a different result, though. So, all of a sudden, at least at the moment, the Cowboys have won the fans back. A standing O for their Cowboys. And, of course, you become their Cowboys when you lead by 4. Halftime score, Giants 14-10. And the Cowboys to kick off. And back deep, number 22 is Lee Roussan, and 33 is the new starting fullback, George Adams, with Roger Ruzek to kick off for the Dallas Cowboys. Again, Dallas coming in with a mark of 6-3. And the Giants 1-5, and Washington on top in the NFC East with a mark of 6-1. Ruzek kicks it down to the 3. Lee Roussan is stopped out at the 25-yard line, and the first man he runs into for the Cowboys is Jesse Penn, who recovered that fumble at the end of the first half.
We've seen a lot of great defensive play on both sides of the line tonight, but Lawrence Taylor's been spectacular in the first half. He does so many things. Let's watch him here. This is a pressure by Marshall and the interception by Taylor. And he also, with the great speed, can come around blockers, as he does Mark Tuinei, and cause fumbles, as he does right here.
It's nothing new. I'd like to say, boy, isn't that something special? Yes, it is something special, but it's not something new. He does it every week.
Sims on 1st and 10 from the 25. Over the middle, hits Morris, and Morris is hit down at the 33-yard line by Ron Francis, the rookie cornerback. It's a gain of 8. It'll be 2nd down and 2 for the Giants.
You don't see a lot of Joe Morris coming out of the backfield as receiver. As a matter of fact, they have been using him in there, even on passing situations tonight, and he's been a pretty good blocker. There are the stats from the first half. Turnovers equal, but the one by the Giants, Tony Galbraith, set up the final Cowboys score.
2nd down, 1.5 yards from the 34-yard line. Manuel in motion. And with a basic free play, they go to the air. A marker goes down. Adams made the catch. He's got the first down, but a flag is thrown.
And it was William Roberts, obviously against Ed Jones. He just pulled Ed Jones right down to the carpet. And unfortunately, he did it right in front of the head linesman.
Hold him. Want him back. Take him back. Yeah.
Let's take a look at it from the bottom. Here's Ed Jones. Watch him working upfield against William Roberts. Ed already off the line of scrimmage. If you're an offensive tackle, that's a big help having him already a yard off the ball. But Roberts that time just not ready, standing at the line of scrimmage flat-footed. And when Jones comes to him, he had really nothing else to do other than drag him to the ground, which he did.
Filling big shoes, those of Carl Nelson over right tackle.
2nd and 11 from the 24-yard line. Morris, and the Cowboys read that one perfectly. Mike Hegman is right there at the bottom of the pile along with Kevin Brooks.
And that time Mike Hegman going nose-to-nose with Mark Bavaro, who has been not a factor at all in tonight's game and just single blocking, and Mike Hegman beats Bavaro cleanly to the inside and makes the play for no gain whatsoever. I pose the question, where is Mark Bavaro? He's not been a part of the Giants offense tonight.
Blitz down for the Cowboys. They've been doing it consistently in the first half. 3rd down and long.
3rd and 11. Jones is there, got a hand in, and Tuchel gets the sack.
They did that without the blitz. Randy White, Kevin Brooks, and Ed Jones.
And again, working on William Roberts. Ed's going to go upfield. Look how he gets Roberts' shoulders turned. Easy to throw your man. Back to the inside comes Too Tall. When you get an offensive tackle who turns his shoulders away from the line of scrimmage, he's susceptible to being slapped, so you can go back inside.
Sean Landette at a punt. Kelvin Edwards backs up, fields at his 23. And brings it back out to the 35-yard line. And from there, will the Cowboys take possession for the first time in the second half. 12:29 to go in the third quarter. Down by Michelob Light. When the sun goes down, light up the night with Michelob Light. By Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? And by United Airlines, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies. Beautiful shot from the Goodyear blimp looking toward downtown Dallas, Texas.
Building another Dallas out here. Las Colinas area growing every time we come back, and something else is going up in the air.
Gorgeous night. Temperature in the low 70s. And the Dallas Cowboys on top by a score of 14-10 as they take over at their own 35-yard line, 1st and 10.
And there has been a serious mood swing with those in attendance here at Texas Stadium tonight. They opened up by lustily booing the Cowboys when they came out for warm-ups. They were, I guess, a little less in the booing mood at the beginning of the game, and right now they are on their feet when the Cowboys make a big play. Football in Texas, synonymous.
And fans tickle anywhere.
They are working on Fred Wyant's mic, and that's the reason for the little extra delay here. And now we're ready to go. 12:29 to play, third quarter.
Maybe a little more so here, Dan. We were down here a couple of weeks ago, and Al was doing the World Series, and they had 60,000 here for the replacement team.
They had more for the replacement team than I believe they have here tonight. We're very close.
You're right. 1st and 10 from the 35-yard line. Walker in motion. And the handoff to Tony Dorsett, and he can't go anywhere. Jim Burt was right there to stop him initially, and then George Martin applied the coup de grace.
Jim Burt defensively for the Giants, a guy who's going to be playing with a lot of enthusiasm and intensity, because for the first time he's really having to split his playing time equally with Eric Howard. And Jim Burt being the veteran ball player and Eric Howard only in his second year, every veteran on every team in the league knows what that means. You better play up to a certain level or you're going to be on the bench.
On 2nd and 9, Dorsett behind a block from Newsom, cuts back the other way, and Tony's not going very far. He is wrapped up by Harry Carson, 53.
Giants #1 against the rush a year ago, and they're playing tough again tonight. Let's take a look at Burt in the middle. He attracts Crawford Kerr, Rafferty. Hey, when you play that nose tackle, they come from every angle. And it is so noisy.
It is so noisy and so dangerous. Right now, Jim Burt is coming out of the ball game as Eric Howard checks in. George Martin out as well, and Jim's not real pleased with the present setup. He's such a tremendous competitor. But yet, Eric Howard is a potential superstar on the defensive line. Bill Parcells loves the guy and admires his toughness. Says he might be the meanest guy I got.
3rd and 9 from the 37-yard line. Walker in motion. Movement. And it was Crawford Kerr, number 68, who lifted up.
That's an easy one to call.
False start, number 68.
Confirmed by Wyatt. And that's going to make it 3rd down and 14 now with 11 minutes remaining in the period. And here's how Dallas has fared tonight on 3rd and mostly long.
You'll notice they're all completions with the exception of the one run. Even though you don't get the first down, at least you get some yardage before you have to punt.
3rd and 14. And over the middle for Banks at the 45-yard line. No catch. Incomplete.
That's one of the few poorly thrown balls tonight by Danny White. Perhaps the first one that he has really thrown poorly, because he had Banks open. He probably would have been short of the first down, but he should have had it in there, and he didn't.
He threw the ball back behind as we look at it from behind Danny White, but Banks had made his cut moving to the left, and as you can see, Gordon had to come back to his right to make a play on the football. That ball was a good 2 yards off target by Danny White.
Mike Saxon, third year in the league out of San Diego State, and doing a great job for Dallas. Fair catch called for at the 29-yard line by McConkey. And a look at White as the Giants take over after a 38-yard Saxon booth. Dallas by 4.
Economics major from Wesleyan University. Bill Belichick, very bright defensive coordinator for the New York Giants, came in 79, still one of the youngest ones around, making a few adjustments on the sidelines.
All those brains, and he's scribbling on a board down on the ground. Football is a great sport, isn't it?
Communications have come a long way.
From the 30, it's Joe Morris for a gain of 2. I'll tell you one thing, Dan. You better keep doing a great job with that telestrator, because we're happy to announce that Tim McCarver has re-signed with ABC, and we mentioned that, our great baseball analyst, because we don't want to be scooped. That's why we mentioned it.
We struck a deal. I don't do World Series. He doesn't do Super Bowls.
We are thrilled to have Tim back with us. He's in Spain right now, so he's not privy to this announcement, unless he's listening in on the satellite somewhere.
I think everyone at ABC certainly is delighted to have Tim with us.
You bet.
One of the best.
Out to the 33-yard line goes Joe Morris, and it'll be 3rd down and 7. Kevin Brooks in on the tackle.
Something fun, lively, perky. You know, you just kind of add something special.
I think it's something about playing for the Cardinals, football or baseball. You know, I think it's must be something in that muddy water.
I'm going to see what you came up with.
3rd down, 3rd and 7 at the 32.
Well, you and Reggie went to Arizona State,
right? From the 32, it's Sims throwing out to the 41 and a first down, and the catch made by the rookie Stephen Baker, who played at Fresno State, and he played there with Kevin Sweeney, who is on what amounts to the taxi squad now of the Dallas Cowboys.
As Kevin Sweeney was a star for the Dallas Cowboys as their replacement quarterback. Again, good protection for Phil, almost as if you would draw it on a board. He steps up right into the pocket and fires the shot.
That's the line of vision you want when you're throwing an inside pattern, is to have the pocket move past you, be open up the middle, and that's exactly what Phil Sims got.
First down from the 41-yard line. And Sims throws, and there's Bavaro making the catch, and he steps out of bounds a little shy of the first down marker. And that means a free play, in essence, coming up for the Giants, because it's going to be 2nd and 1.
Dan was mentioning a moment ago, he wondered where Bavaro was. Bavaro has had a reoccurrence of a problem of a year ago that really troubled him a year ago, and that is not a sprained foot, but a kind of a nerve problem in his foot. It's bothered him not as much as it did a year ago, but I'm sure it has been affecting his play.
He lines up on the right side on 2nd down and 1. And Sims is going to use this free play to go deep. Very deep. And the catch is made for a touchdown. Lionel Manuel. So Phil Sims, 2nd and 1. And it's a free one, so why not? And Manuel got free, and he's in for the score to put the Giants on top.
What a grab, and there is that hand in the cast, the left hand, and he just puts on the sprint, and he runs right by the rookie Ron Francis. Michael Downs helping on the inside, but he didn't bother to put on a move, and he comes down trying to protect that left hand that he nevertheless fell on, rolled on, and it is very painful. But a beautiful pass, I might add, also.
Right into double coverage. Francis, Downs, both there.
So with that broken bone in his wrist and the rest of it, 2 TD catches last week, 1 tonight. Allegre's kick is good. 8:31 to go in the period.
Great read by Manuel, because he did not put any kind of move on. He read the double coverage. Any kind of a move, and Michael Downs might have been there to make the difference. The Giants go out in front.
1987 Motor Trend Car of the Year. The world's best-selling car. America's design leader. These cars have one thing in common. They're built by a single car company that's anything but common. Ford.
Winning the world over. Leo McKern for the investment firm of Smith Barney.
It's a myth that wealth is self-perpetuating. The owner here invested the family fortune in prime breeding stock. Unfortunately, these studs turned out to be duds. Having money is no sin, but squandering it is. For preservation of capital, consider Smith Barney. They make money the old-fashioned way. They earn it.
When the sun goes down, gonna light up the night. Silver label, red ribbon, a taste that's right. Gonna light up the night. Michelob Light. Gonna light up the night. Wait for it. Light up the night. Wait for it. Light up the night. My Michelob Light. I'm gonna light up the night.
Thursday at a special time. Roger Moore in the network television premiere of View to a Kill. Thursday.
2 touchdowns a week ago against St. Louis. A big one tonight. But a good read by Manuel and a good read by Phil Simms and a well-thrown ball.
Allegre's kick is a line drive taken at the 6 by Edwards. And he comes out past the 30 and to the 35. And that's what's going to happen a lot if you kick the ball as low as Allegre did.
One of the prettiest parts of the pro game is that long pass, as we saw from Simms to Manuel, and that's, I don't know that there's a more exciting play in the game, and it's put the Giants up front 17-14. Let's take a look at Lionel. Nothing fancy about this. Francis doesn't read that he's going to run the fly pattern. He's beaten badly, and Michael Downs too far to the inside. And well, that's as pretty as it gets.
So now the Cowboys trailing by 3 at their own 35-yard line. 1st and 10. Fake to Walker. Pass is batted away one-handed by Mark Collins. Second-year corner out of Cal State Fullerton. Mike Renfro, the intended receiver, down the sideline. 2nd and 10.
I think a quarterback doesn't like to hit that long pass. Watch Simms. He's watching it all the way. Will he get it? You betcha.
There's his version of the shimmy shimmy Cocoa Pop.
Cocoa Pop? He's an enthusiastic ball player. He's turned into a leader. He's all fired up about this whole challenge, as he calls it, to get this team back into the playoffs.
2nd and 10. Walker, nice move to escape Pepper Johnson, and then he takes it out to the 47-yard line. Johnson had him shadowed, and then Walker cut back to the inside and turns what would have been a 5-yard gain into a 12-yard pickup.
Can do a lot of things. We mentioned those 76 receptions of a year ago. And we also mentioned earlier, if you weren't with us, that both Walker and Tony Dorsett are grumbling about not getting more action carrying the football. They're carrying it in the teens rather than in the 20s, and both of them like to be in the 20s.
And Dallas, after losing the lead, is putting a good drive together.
1st and 10. Walker again. Nothing cooking this time. Giants break up the play, led by LT and Kenny Hill.
Well, there's another myth about LT. You don't run. The best place to run is to run at him. That time they ran right at him, and he nailed Herschel Walker right at the line of scrimmage. Lost a couple of yards on it. He stepped across and stepped right into Walker.
If I'm an offensive coordinator and I'm going to attack the New York Giants, I think I'd be more inclined to go with quicker hitting plays rather than the slower developing plays that are moving parallel to the line of scrimmage. So many big, strong athletes who run so well, and they're not working.
2nd and 13. Walker makes the catch, and his forward progress takes him out to the 49-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 8. Meanwhile, Tony Dorsett, there he is tonight. Look at that, 1 net yard. And that would be an average of 0.14.
That's probably happened in the past, but Tony's complaining about, as what Herschel is complaining about. Give it to me 14 times. I'm going to break one for 25, 30, or 40 yards.
Well, new people in the offensive line, plus working against the New York Giants. A couple of contributing factors, but tough to win a football game when you rush for those kind of averages.
3rd and 7 from the 50. Off balance throw to Newsom. And he makes the catch, but comes up well short of the first down. Stopped by Kenny Hill, and that'll force Dallas to kick.
I think Dorsett and Walker have problems. What about Newsom? They're fighting over how many times they carry it. Newsom never even gets to smell it.
Well, not one of my big favorites, the 3rd and 13 and throwing a 1-yard pass. In fact, that pass was actually caught at the line of scrimmage. It was a good effort by Newsom to pick up any yardage at all, but hard-pressed to see the wisdom in throwing a pass that really has no chance of getting a first down for you.
The sure-handed McConkey to accept the kick from Mike Saxon. McConkey stands at the 10. Giants try to set up the return. It's a low-line drive, angle kick. McConkey from the 15. And he brings it back to the 24-yard line. So the Giants will take over at the 24. 5:24 to play, third quarter. New York on top by a field goal.
My brother thinks he's bought the perfect TV.
Sure did. It's perfect TV.
Oh, yeah?
Perfect.
Does it have a flat square picture, too?
Yep.
High-resolution filter?
Yep.
178-channel capability?
Roger.
4-speaker stereo system?
Yep, right there.
On-screen graphics?
Yep.
A remote that controls this TV, wireless cable, and VCR, even if they're different brands.
Hey, I got a Magnavox.
Smart, Tom. Very smart.
Yeah, I know. Acting dumb is just my job.
Doing a great job.
If you ever thought you had to give up comfort to get a close shave, think again. Norelco puts close and comfortable right in the palm of your hand with a revolutionary system that shaves skin close in a way that's incredibly comfortable. With a patented lift and cut system that lifts each hair so it's possible to shave skin close without the blades even touching the skin. A shaver that defies logic gives you a shave that defies belief. Norelco Rotatract, where close and comfortable come face to face.
Get a taste of the unexpected. There's
Raisin in the middle. Kellogg's Raisin Squares. Raisin in the middle.
Kellogg's Raisin Squares.
What a taste sensation. Whole wheat. Sweetened with raisin. A combination with flair. A tasty little package.
With raisin in there.
Raisin in the middle. Naturally sweet raisin. Raisin in the middle.
Kellogg's Raisin Squares.
Raisin in the middle.
Kellogg's Raisin Squares.
And now apple cinnamon squares.
As the offensive playboard, not been too effective tonight. Randy White playing hurt again, as he's done so often.
There's Tom
Rafferty
right there,
who's had some good work in the middle tonight, but mostly on pass protection. The Cowboys have not been eking out any rushing yardage at all against New York, and with the strength of the Giants, you're starting to get the impression that if Dallas is going to win this ballgame, they're going to have to do it with a big play or some turnovers. Rushing the football down New York's throat isn't going to happen.
From the 25-yard line, Sims is going to put it up. And he winds up running it out to the 30-yard line. You know, earlier we talked about combined yardage, and we figured we would take a look at career combined yards, rushing, passing, receiving. Frank is up there among the leaders at 98.70. And yours truly would be second. And then, of course, there was the one-time tackle for the Cardinals, Dan Dierdorf, who snapped the ball over Neil Lomax's head. He had 12 yards returning fumbles in his career and then got charged with a -13.
Steve Hurt, you're a dead man. You set me up today.
This is Adams out to the 35-yard line. Steve, after some assiduous research, was able to come up with that.
We've got a flag down on the field. You talk about being drawn into an innocent conversation.
Yep, well, Wyatt makes the call, and that's going to push the Giants back. And there he is, folks, -1.
What did you do
combined
again?
yardage.
I was a center and a shotgun snap. And if it goes over the quarterback's shoulder, they credit the center with having caused a fumble, and I got the loss of yardage. I thought Lomax was at least 9 or 10 feet tall.
Frank, not only that, but Dallas or Washington recovered, and on the next play, Theismann threw a touchdown.
Oh, come on, give me a break.
He did.
Well, it was after lunch.
Well, what do you want me? You know, good friends. It's always nice to have good friends.
2nd and 17. And it's caught by Manuel near the first down marker at the 34-yard line.
You know, people didn't get a chance to know Manuel last year because he was hurt after the 4th game, I believe. He missed the entire season. The year before that, he had led the Giants in receiving, but he's a spectacular receiver. Not too big, 5'11", 186, and we know he has the speed. You saw him catch the bomb a while ago, but what he really does better than any Giant particularly, and better than most wide receivers in the league, he knows how to work his zone. He knows how to work man for man. He reads it so quickly, and he is rapidly developing into one of the best we've got around.
Giants now 3rd down and inches, and they bring Lee Roussan into the game and pair him with Adams. And they give it to Adams, and he's got that 1st down as he's pushed back by Lockhart, but not after he takes it out to the 37-yard line with 4:05 to play in the 3rd quarter.
Kevin Brooks still down on the ground for Dallas, and he's attempting to get up. Finally makes it back to the huddle. Number 99, Kevin Brooks out of Michigan, who Frank has had to fight a lot of injury problems here in Dallas. And he's receiving a long-distance call right now.
Oh, the bells are going off, I think.
Collect 1st and 10 from the 38. Joe Morris back in the game, stays into block, and it's tipped and incomplete, in and out of Manuel's hands.
And Joe Morris did another job. He did his job. He usually is not in there in this kind of a situation. They'll take him out. And that time, Morris made another block. That's about the 3rd tonight that has saved Phil Simms from major sacks.
It's his job to look at Eugene Lockhart, the middle linebacker, all the way. Lockhart comes in clean. And Joe Morris, who was to the right of Phil Simms, had to move out of his way, cut back to the left, make contact with number 56 Lockhart, and knock him out of the play. 3rd time tonight.
Dog down for the Cowboys once again.
On 2nd and 10, Simms to the safety valve, Adams, and he is tripped up by Mike Hegman. Hegman all over the joint tonight.
Interesting how a veteran ball player reacts to adversity. And here in Dallas, where the fans are down on the players, the coaches have been tough on them. If a franchise is going to go into a swoon, it's the veteran ball players who always end up either at another club or out on the street. And interesting how the Cowboy veterans are responding tonight. These guys are playing darn good football.
3rd and long, and the Giants have Manuel back out on the rookie, Ron Francis, to Phil Simms left.
3rd and 10. Simms is going to go right, though, for Baker, and incomplete. Bates and Walls were both there. Everson Walls broke it up. He got a hand on it.
And a great crowd reaction.
Watch Everson come from behind and all sorts of contact. Whoa, he puts both hands on the back of Stephen Baker to get around to the front and gets away without the call. That easily could have been an interference call.
He had one earlier in the end zone.
So the Cowboys able to stop the Giants, and Landeta to boot it away. Good deep kick. Edwards from the 15-yard line gets tackled at the 18 with 2:28, and Robbie Jones in on the tackle again. 47-yard boot and a 3-yard run back with 2:28 to play in the 3rd period.
Cowboys seem to think they were going to get their act together after what happened last week in Philadelphia, and very celebrated what happened.
I talked about it in our open. This is what happened. 1:18 left to go in the game, and the Eagles clearly running out the clock. Tom Landry says, well, 30-20, a 10-point loss, and they're being gracious about it. Not the case. 3rd down, under 10 seconds, and Randall Cunningham comes back and launches one to the end zone, and there's the interference call against Francis. And boy, this is just, I'm sorry, there's no other way to describe this. This is just taking your nose and rubbing it in it.
Penalty against the Giants when they back up will explain what happened. A couple of weeks prior to last week's Philadelphia game, the Eagles were in town, and the Cowboys had several replacement players out of the lineup, and they had a big lead at halftime, and they brought in Tony Dorsett and Danny White, and that got Buddy Ryan hot. And he said at the time, you're going to have to come play me in Philadelphia.
Meanwhile, the Giants took again because Pepper Johnson was downfield too early, and this is a real beauty. Backs Edwards up to the 3-yard line, and he takes it to the 11. So the Cowboys could have declined the penalty, but elected to take it, and they wind up in worse shape at the 11.
And there's a good case of the return man not knowing where he is on the field because he's back there all by himself.
And that was a 64-yard punt.
Wow.
More than that, he had some altitude on it. Landetta really got it back in the groove last week against the Cardinals. He averaged over 45 yards a punt, and he just flat nailed that one.
So the Cowboys backed up to their 11 with number 11 White at the helm. And shooting it out for Banks. And Banks is ridden down at the 19-yard line after a gain of close to 8. Stopped by Terry Kennard.
Where the Cowboys have been successful tonight offensively is several times they've taken the ball in their own end of the field, inside their own 20, and while they haven't converted them into points, more often than not they've gotten out to the 40 or even up to midfield before they've had to punt the football away. Really an emotional turnaround for a team. If they get backed up inside their 20, only get 3 downs, have to punt it away. When they're 3 points down, they need some first downs, if not some points.
2nd and 2. And White goes to the air to try to get the first down, and does, as Newsome makes the catch, and he's taken out of bounds at the 24-yard line.
I'll tell you, that will tell you something. They have decided they're not going to run too well against the Giants, and they have not all night long. On 2nd and short yardage, they still put it up in the air. And Carl Banks again in on the stop, but they do get the first down. And Lawrence Taylor gets most of the ink, Dan, but this is a great one.
A lot of the coaches in the league tell you if I had to make the choice between Carl Banks and Lawrence Taylor, it might be a split decision. It certainly would not be a unanimous vote. Carl Banks, his all-around skills are just extraordinary, and to think that those 2 guys are on the outside is mind-boggling.
On first down, Herschel Walker fights his way out to the 30-yard line for a gain of 6.
Speaking of extraordinary.
I guess you could make the same point about he and Dorsett being on the same team.
Well, Herschel's day is going to come, and it's going to come pretty soon, because Tony Dorsett is the 2nd oldest running back in the league at 33.
Tough to do it at 33, and more than that, he had arthroscopic surgery on both knees during the offseason. He's healthy, the knees are fine, but at 33, you just don't make that cut like you used to make it. You don't accelerate like Tony used to do it. You just can't do it anymore.
The only older running back is the Giants' Galbraith. There's a penalty flag thrown as Herschel Walker. It could be a delay. The clock was down to 0.
Delay, offense.
So the Cowboys, who had a 2nd down and 5, can't get the play off before the clock runs out.
Quick look at Tom Landry talking to Paul Hackett and Jim Erkenbach. They're upstairs.
There's the 1985 rushing plays between Dorsett. You see, he was the main man last year. The gap between he and Herschel Walker narrows to only 30-plus carries, and it's tough to have 2 men of that talent in the same backfield, and all the great backs will tell you that I'd rather carry it 30 times a game than 20 times a game, and there's not room for both.
On 2nd and 10 from the 25-yard line, the pass is broken up. Intended for Rod Barksdale, and Mark Collins was covering on the play, and it was Lawrence Taylor putting the pressure on.
There are the great backs. Eric Dickerson, he just carries it over 60%. Joe Morris, he likes to run. At one time, it was Bill Parcells didn't think that he could carry it over 20 times, and the more you gave it to him, the better he was. Kurt Warner, he's a tremendous workhorse, and you look at Tony Dorsett and Herschel Walker, though, it is Herschel Walker, the man who can carry it those 20, 25, 30 times. Tony Dorsett, never a back that at 185 pounds that could carry it that many times.
3rd down and 9 at the 25-yard line. And again, we've got a whistle blowing the play dead. Here's Wyatt.
Ball start, number 66.
And that would be Kevin Gogan. Well, we saw Dickerson's name up there. We haven't touched on that much tonight. Eric traded Indianapolis. Among other things that happened this week, Eric traded his new digs at Malibu by the Sea for a city that is the largest American city not on a navigable waterway, Indianapolis.
He could buy a river for the amount of money he got.
Certainly a king-size pool.
But leave his surfboard at home. 3rd down and 15.
The Rams came up with the entire draft for next year.
Yeah. White going deep, Edwards, and no flag. And the crowd wants a flag. Terry Williams with the coverage.
That might be a little reflective of that damaged wrist from a year ago for Danny White. That ball had nothing on it, just hung up there like a wounded bird. And Edwards had just a little bit of a step. Danny just couldn't get it there.
That was a beautiful play by Perry Williams. Initially, when you first saw the play, it looked like he had made contact with Kelvin Edwards, but no, the hand was free. If anything, he hooked him in the face mask a little bit at the end. And look at this.
Saxon has to go through his hands and still has time to get it away because the Giants have set up a return. So he makes a little something out of nothing. And a flag is down back at the line of scrimmage.
Well, you'll have illegal men downfield because they left well before the kick, not knowing what had happened with Saxon back behind.
Hadn't immediately saying, we don't want it.
Ineligible, number 40, downfield, declined, first down.
14-yard punt.
Here's a look at it. Let's look at the snap.
Not a bad snap.
From Steve Diassi.
It's right at eye level, and that snap from Diassi should have been handled by Saxon, who still has trouble getting the handle on it, and the Giants, who were set up in a return, had no one pressuring the kicker whatsoever. Boy, talk about a wasted opportunity for the Giants.
Would not be surprised to see Bill Parcells wanting to go quickly for a big score. Good idea when you get a quick turnover deep in territory. Try to get it all.
From the 34-yard line, a sweep from Morris, who cuts it back upfield and takes it down to the 33-yard line. And that will be the final play of the third quarter. So the Giants do the only scoring in period 3, lead by 3, and we'll be back after this word about an upcoming show on ABC and a word from your local station.
With the arrival of Hooperman and Slap Maxwell, ABC has taken the sitcom edge, says Tom Shales of the Washington Post. Innovative brilliance.
Hey, Bijou, what's shaking besides your rear end?
The stuff dreams are made of.
I think she's coming around.
Hooperman and Slap Maxwell, Wednesday.
Most kids dream of winning an Olympic medal, but only a handful of very special people have the energy and the vision to work relentlessly in the pursuit of perfection. We at Blue Cross and Blue Shield have a healthy respect for these qualities, and we're proud to have played a small part in the dream of Susie Semenick and Scott Gregory. Our dedication to the people of Western Pennsylvania is a 365-day-a-year job. Do you have Blue Cross and Blue Shield?
Running to the supermarket's like running an obstacle course, especially with a fuel injector under your hood. Stop-and-go driving's your worst enemy. But now, you've got some powerful ammunition of your own. Gulf's extra detergent gasolines. Gulf-powered cleaning for extra quick starts, extra acceleration, extra performance. Because at a time like this, the last thing you want to worry about is your gasoline.
Counting on coming on strong when you're going down.
A grand jury investigation in 5 counties results in arrest warrants that could be the end of a prostitution and pornography ring. We'll take a look at the fight against porn in the suburbs tonight on Action News following Monday Night Football on ABC.
So we start the fourth quarter. Texas Stadium in Irving. Cowboys led at the half, but the Giants scored in the third period to take the lead. And as we start the fourth quarter, it's New York 17, Dallas 14. And the Giants have the football with the Dallas 33-yard line. Second down, 9.
And they're going to whom, Frank?
I would say Manuel. It's a blitz situation for the Cowboys. You should get man on man. Manuel is lined up in front of the rookie, Ron Francis, bottom of your screen.
To the left, Manuel going deep, and he's going for Manuel, who has him beat, and touchdown. Great call.
I get an assist.
You get the setup. Factors in, though. Landry loves to come with the blitz. You'll get man for man when you get that. And Manuel is not going to be covered by Ron Francis, at least in this decade, when you get him one-on-one. Super little receiver. Let's take a look at him. First, the protection. Sprints away from Francis. He wasn't even close. And trying to get back and help out will be Michael Downs. Too late with too little.
as we look at the extra point. It's funny how Francis, a rookie defensive back, isn't playing the deep route. Normally, rookie corners are guilty of giving way too much ground, if anything. You know, they give all that cushion underneath, and yet here you have Francis, who's already been beaten long for a touchdown, gets it again, still playing the short route. I can't figure it.
Very high on him. He was led the Southwest Conference out of Baylor, where they are very well coached over there. We look at it again, and he did not make any mistakes at all in preseason. It's one of the rare times Landy would ever start a rookie, but twice now we have seen Manuel just sprint right by him. There's no way they were not going to come back to it, particularly on 2nd and long, because they were anticipating the blitz. They got that. They picked it up. Single coverage, an easy touchdown for the Giants.
There he is, and think about it, with that soft cast and all, 4 touchdown receptions in the last 2 games.
And you think about Lionel Manuel and his talents, you really even have to admire the New York Giants for what they did down the stretch last year, because they did it without this guy who was hurt in the New Orleans game and last October with a knee, and really wasn't any help to the Giants at all until playoff time came around. So losing their #1 receiver like that and still doing what they did getting to the Super Bowl, quite a testament to how strong that Giant team is.
Kickoff taken by Edwards at the 1-yard line. Nice little hurdle, and out to the 30-yard line, and from there will Dallas begin as we take a look at the numbers through the first 45 minutes.
It's beginning to change. I think, Dan, we mentioned a while ago when we were away, and Al, that I think just the sheer strength now of the Giants is beginning to tell. They're really beating up on them defensively. They've taken the run game totally away from them.
Both teams, 56 yards and 25 yards. That's an extremely low total for both of these clubs.
And if you can take the running game away from a team with Herschel Walker and Tony Dorsett, you can take it away from anybody.
Good point.
From the 30-yard line, Danny White and Cosby, first down out to the 45. They go to the tight end, and Kenny Hill makes the tackle.
And the plays the Cowboys are making really belong to Danny White. Again, he was harassed under pressure, calm, cool, and was able to get the ball at the last second to Cosby. Again, I'll go back to it. I mean, he followed a legend down here, and he's done some amazing things. He came in 1980, took them twice to NFC championship games, and it was never quite enough, because when you follow Roger Staubach, well, you just can't do enough.
From the 46-yard line, and it's Dorsett with a flag down, a marker down.
Mr. Intensity, Ernie Stoughton, the old Hall of Fame Pittsburgh Steeler. He's trying to counsel his wounded cornerback, Ron Francis. You know, that can really destroy a back, for at least for a while. And Ernie, I'm sure, is trying to say, look, you know, it's all over now. It's history. Let's just go from here.
Penalty is against the Cowboys.
Let's take a look at George Martin, number 75, sliding to the inside. George, a 13-year guy who's won all sorts of community awards, is the New York Giants representative for the Travelers NFL Man of the Year.
1st and 15 after the procedure call, and it's Cosby who takes the ball over the 50 and is run out of bounds at about the 47 of the Giants.
Talking about George Martin, 13 years he's been playing this game. He also was the winner of the Whizzer White Award, presented by the Players Association last spring. That, again, like the Travelers Man of the Year Award for community effort at Super Bowl 22, where we are going to be. They will announce the Travelers Man Year of the Award.
Those 6 TDs that he scored, I think I saw 3 of them up close and personal.
And he scored another one when he lined up as a tight end one time. He has 7 in his career.
And I believe that was against the Cowboys in New York.
2nd and 3, Danny White to Cosby again. And a first down at the 27-yard line. So 3 times they have gone to Cosby, who has scored a touchdown already tonight.
And the last 2 times, the identical pattern. Just breaking it off underneath. Ordinarily, the Giants will pick up Cosby, and they'll cover him with a man-for-man. But from this zone, they're almost trying to cover him with linebackers, and that won't get it done. You can see Pepper Johnson coming into the shot, and Kenny Hill getting back there very late.
Those patterns, a lot of them crossing patterns by the tight end, take a lot of time. 2 things are happening. Danny White is getting some good protection up front, but he's also waiting until the last minute and taking a shot just about every time.
From the 27-yard line, Walker stopped by Hill at the 16, and so Dallas mounts a drive at a time when they need to move into the end zone. They're down by 10.
That time, Pepper Johnson floats out from the inside. Watch him come across underneath. He tries to make a play on the ball instead of the man. Pepper should have gone back and made the play on Herschel Walker instead of trying to get up front on the ball, but he doesn't get either one, and the Cowboys pick up another first down inside the 20, down to almost the 15-yard line, and when they're down by 10, this is a drive they sorely needed.
Banks to the left, Renfro to the right. And they give it to Dorsett, and still nothing cooking. He is ankle tackled by Carl Banks.
And you hear the boos for Tony Dorsett. Goes back to his crossing the picket line because of his contract and economics, the things he said prior to that. And
might have something to do with that as well.
Very confused young man, though. He can't quite understand it.
Minus 1 yard. That's astonishing. I don't know that that's ever happened to Tony before, and I think you saw a good look of him looking up to the stands as they applauded when he left the field.
You can relate to that stat, Dan. White to throw. And Banks, it was behind him. He had slipped down. Kerry Carson covering on the play, and it will set up third down.
Cowboys need 7 out of this one. They do not want the 3 out of it. Here's Tom Landry. He talks high overhead to Paul Hackett, the offensive coordinator, who's there with Jim Erkenbach, who came over from New Orleans this past year to help out on the offense. Landry will make the decision. He'll get the input from Hackett, the former 49er coach, who arrived here with the Cowboys a year ago, but Landry will make the call, and this is his choice for 3rd and 12.
Shotgun. And he lost it, and incomplete with a flag because Andy Hedden didn't even turn around. With Timmy Newsome down there, Andy Hedden was looking right into Newsome's eyes and never looked back at the ball.
You have to play the football.
I don't think Hedden knew the ball was coming. That was well played by Newsome. He came out of there so cool. As the ball was coming towards him, he did not put his hands up. He did not act excited. He did not act like an eligible receiver. And Hedden did not play the ball because he didn't think it was going to be there.
I don't think they're going to get the call.
No penalty, no penalty.
Oh, boy.
I don't think he made the contact.
Well, I think this might warrant a look. Let's take a look at it. This action will be at the top of your screen. Timmy Newsome flares out. Now he makes his turn upfield. The ball's in the air. Now Hedden looking at Newsome, looking at Newsome. Newsome never even saw the football, and I didn't see any contact there.
Neither one of them. There was a little brushing right there, but that's allowable.
Well, Newsome never even made a play for the
never
football.
Never saw the football, and Danny White almost caught it for him.
I wonder if that ball got up in the light somehow, and he never saw it because he didn't make a play until it was moving by him at waist level.
Dallas now to try the field goal. Ruzek, 35-yard attempt. Spotted at the 25-yard line, and he boots it through, and that puts them back within 7. With 11:58 to play in the 4th period, it's now 24-17.
Like a further explanation of why that flag went. And it comes out of the pocket right there. And it does not seem to be any question, but it's disallowed. Somebody, perhaps with a better angle, overruling that call. Back in a moment.
Every day, Jack Taylor and Joe Donovan take the same road home. But today, they went a little out of their way.
Give you a hand.
Here's to you, the clean, crisp taste of Beechwood-aged Budweiser.
This bird's
For all the guys who go out of their way.
This bird's for you. Something in the way she moves attracts me like no other lover. Something in the way she moves me, I don't want to leave her now.
Its power will move you. Its beauty will will stop you. The LeBarons, coupe and convertible, only from Chrysler. LeBarons are beauty with a passion for driving.
In the way she moves.
Paul Newman's brother.
I'm Arthur Newman. I'm no heartthrob, but Dean Witter still handles my investments with tender, loving care.
You're somebody, a Dean Witter.
A member of the Sears Financial Network.
Year in, year out, you expect quite a lot out of your car. But just what have you put into it lately? Give your car the good life with STP gas treatment.
Saturday, a Pac-10 matchup as Stanford meets the USC Trojans. Or in the Big Ten, Michigan takes on Minnesota. Saturday's coverage begins with ABC's College Football Today.
And another look down from the Goodyear blimp, America, into Texas Stadium. In Irving, Texas. Beautiful night, warm night, good ball game. 24-17. Giants on top by a touchdown with Ruzek to kick off for the Cowboys.
Whole bunch on the line for the Giants.